talk about folding surgical gowns. First, we need to talk about the supplies that are necessary. So you will need the gown, you will need one surgical hand towel, and then you will need different packs and different wraps to be able to complete this. You will need a sterilization indicator, masking tape, autoclave tape, a Sharpie, and a lint roll. Okay, so the first step of this is going to be to actually fold the gown. To do that, you need to first inspect your gown to make sure that it is operable, it's in good condition, so there's no holes in it, there aren't any tears or rips, it's been lint rolled, it has been washed. Then, once you are sure that that gown is going to be good to go, you're going to hold it up as though you were going to put it on. So the inside of the gown facing you, and you'll find the two seams right at the neckline and fold those together, holding them in your index finger and thumb. Then you're going to locate the armpits and gather those together as well. And then we'll take this and lay it down onto the tabletop. At this point, we need to make sure that we are laying the gown out and folding it nice and neat and even. All of the strings, with the exception of the neckties, should be put inside. They should be tucked inside so that they're not loose. The neckties, you're just going to pull those out at this time, and then we'll show you what to do with them in a moment. And then you're going to just make sure it's all nice and neat. So our goal when we're folding this gown is to make sure that the inside of the gown is facing out and the outside of the gown is completely covered up so it won't be contaminated during the gowning process. So it needs to be nice and neat and even, and it needs to be accordion folded, so we have different layers that are folded back to back to allow the gown to just fall open. The next stage after you've got this all nice and set out is to fold the short end of the gown over on itself just one time, and then we're going to flip the entire gown over so that the armpit or the armholes are facing down towards the table. And then we're going to begin accordion folding this from the end of the gown, the bottom of the gown, up. And the size doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that you don't have a really tall gown or a really thick pack when you're done with this. So you're just going to accordion back and forth until that final accordion fold where you have the armholes easily accessible. You can see the tag, which tells you what size the gown is, as well as indicating that this is the inside of the gown. Now with the neckties, you're just going to kind of fold them over on themselves so that they are accessible. Some surgeons will use the ties to handle the gown, and some surgeons will pick the entire gown up, so make sure that you have both the ties and the armholes accessible for the surgeon. The next thing you're going to do is to fold your surgical towel. This is a surgical hand towel, and we're going to fold this in a quarter fold. So lay it out flat on the table, fold it in half, and then back in half on itself. So again, we're going to get a nice accordion fold. And because we're doing a quarter fold, we're now going to fold it in half and in half again. We don't want to fold it any smaller than this because again it adds bulk to your pack, which makes it much more difficult to sterilize. The towel is going to lay right on top of the gown, and now we're ready to actually wrap the pack. The different products that we can use for wrapping a pack are going to be textile or cloth, and then a denison or a paper product. So you will see both in practice. Some practices will use 2 layers of paper, some practices will use 2 layers of cloth. Here we use cloth on the inside, denison on the outside. If you're going to mix the products, the denison or the paper product always has to be on the outside, and the cloth product always has to be on the inside. When you are preparing to wrap a pack, you need to examine your pack wraps, because if they have holes in them, you cannot use them. So this one has holes in it, so we're not going to be able to use that to wrap our pack with. The next one is nice and clean. It doesn't have any holes in it, doesn't have any rips or tears on it. So we're going to lay this down on the table in a kite or diamond shape in front of us, and then we will take the contents of our pack, in this case the gown and the towel, and place them in the center of our pack wrap. We have to make sure that we put our sterilization indicator inside of the pack. This is going to tell the surgeon immediately upon opening the pack whether the contents are sterile. This is called an OK strip because it's got an O that is black as a point of reference, and then a K and an arrow that will turn to a dark black color when they are exposed to the correct temperature and the correct pressure for the correct amount of time in the autoclave. So with these really long ones, I like to fold them over, and you'll just lay that on top of your pack so that as soon as the surgeon opens the pack, they will be able to determine whether it has been properly sterilized. The next portion is to actually wrap the pack. So these packs do need to be wrapped pretty tightly. To do that, you're just going to put some pressure down on the contents of your pack. Start with the corner that is facing towards you, that's closest towards you, and pull that up over the top. Notice that there's a lot of tension as I'm wrapping this pack. And then the corners of this always have to be facing the direction which the person opening the pack should pull. So what I mean by that, once I'm opening this pack, if I grab this corner and pull it this way, I'm not crossing over the contents of my pack, so I'm not contaminating anything on the inside. Whereas if I just pulled it up one time, when the surgeon opens this and they grab this corner, if they pull this way, they're not going to be able to open it. They're actually going to contaminate their pack. So again, make sure that the corners of your pack wrap are facing in the direction that they should be pulled. The next thing you're going to do is keep that hand on top of the pack to make sure that you keep the wrap nice and snug, and then pull up, kind of gathering this material so that it's nice and neat and smooth. Take this corner and fold it over on itself. Again, I have to make sure that this is pointing in the direction that it should be pulled to open, so I just fold it back one time. Keeping that tension on my pack, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite corner. And then I'm going to finish this pack off by gathering all of the material so I have a nice pointy corner to work with, and then I'll pull that around on itself and tuck. Notice that as I was wrapping the pack, it completely turned around. That will make it a lot easier for you. You don't have to work around the pack, you can move the pack. The next thing we're going to do is wrap it a second time. This time we're going to use a Denizen product or a paper product, and this product is a semi-permeable product, so it is designed to allow the heat and the pressure, or the steam from the heat and the pressure to get into the contents of the pack, but not allow other things in. So you'll notice that there's two different sides to this. One of them is kind of fuzzy, and the other one is smoother, a darker blue color that's kind of shiny. The fuzzy side, the duller side, is the inside of this pack wrap, and the smooth, darker, shinier side is the outside. If you put this product on the other way, with it kind of inside out, the steam will not be able to permeate your pack. Again, you're going to put this pack wrap on the table in the diamond or kite shape. Taking the pack that you just wrapped, you're going to set it in the middle. What's really important at this point is to make sure that the little tab that will be used to open the pack is facing towards you as you wrap. And then do the exact same thing. Put your pressure down. Start with that corner that's closest to you. Fold it up. Gather the sides. Make sure that your corners are always pointing in the direction that they should be pulled. And then your last step is to gather all of this material into one nice little triangular shape and fold it back over and tuck it in on itself. Make sure that you do leave enough of a tail that they can grab this to open it later. When you have wrapped your pack appropriately, it will be nice and tight. I could drop this at this point and it would not fall apart, and that's important because if I take this out of a cabinet where it was stored and I accidentally drop it, I don't want it to open up and contaminate my pack. We're now ready to label the pack. So for labeling purposes, we're going to need the Sharpie, the masking tape, and the autoclave tape. So we use masking tape as our primary closure for these packs because it is cheaper, it's less expensive. So you're just going to take a piece of masking tape and you're going to create what's called a courtesy tab by just folding the tape over on itself so you have a little area that's not going to be sticky. And then you will put that courtesy tab up at the top and put just enough tape to hold that pack snugly closed. And then you're going to use autoclave tape. Remember that autoclave tape has built-in sterilization indicators. So on this tape, there are little sterilization indicators that will turn black when the pack is exposed to the appropriate temperature, pressure, and time. So you just need a small amount of that on here just to indicate from an external point whether this pack has been sterilized. On your masking tape, you're going to write what is in the pack. So in this pack we have a medium gown, and then the initials of the person who wrapped it, and the date that it was going to be sterilized. So we're going to write today's date because it will go in the autoclave today. If we wrapped this today but it was not going to be sterilized till tomorrow, we would put the 9th instead of